Hello, and welcome to Pace to Purpose, where every step leads youth, families, and communities toward hope, healing, and wholeness. I'm Nomi Pace Wallace with Nomi for Youth.
And I'm April Pace Williams with Journey to Live Complete. And we're excited to walk this journey with you.
So, tune in each week as we move hearts and minds towards purpose.
One pace at a time.
Hello, and welcome to Pace to Purpose, where every step leads youth, families, and communities toward hope, healing, and wholeness. I'm Nomi Pace Wallace, founder of Nomi for Youth.
And I'm April Pace Williams, founder of Journey to Live Complete. And today's conversation is one that is near and dear to both of our hearts. Breaking the silence, youth mental health, and generational conversations.
Yes. Now, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we believe that discussions about mental health are long overdue. Really, these types of discussions need to be routine. They should be like commonplace. After all, mental health is not new. It is not new at all. It has been around since the dawn of time. Now, I can say that, there has been some progression, and we do, I think our communities, they do speak more about mental health than they did in the past.
Oh, yes.
But we're still not where we need to be. Still not where we need
Not at all. And I think that right when COVID started, that's kind of where we took a pivot in mental health because so many people were
exactly.
experiencing the
Yes.
same type of mental health issues because we were so uh, secluded from society.
Secluded and isolated.
Isolated, yes.
Yeah, and not able to move around,
Right.
so you're right. That was pivotal when conversations about mental illness, they did take a tally up, you know, but
It was like, oh, this is real?
uh-huh, uh-huh, more people understood, but
Uh-huh.
still, even with that, it's still in too many households, silence about mental
Yes.
illness is still the norm. And, hopefully we not hopefully, we will change that,
Yes.
one step at a time.
Right. Because you know what? We were taught to be strong, right? We were taught to
Right.
push through
Mhm.
and not let anyone see
Mhm.
a struggle or know that we were going through something. And that's not okay.
Right.
That's not okay. That silence
No.
can
No.
create invisible wounds. It creates trauma.
Creates invisible wounds, trauma, and burdens to carry,
Yes.
downtrodden burdens,
Right.
But you're right. But you're right. We were taught, you know, that old saying, never let them see you sweat. On all the
Right.
time you are sweating, you know?
Absolutely.
So when I think about breaking a silence, I think the only thing that can break a silence is noise of some sort, right? So in this
Mhm.
situation,
Mhm.
I think about voices. I think of our workshops and the way that we
Right.
emphasize at the beginning of each workshop how important for each participant, how important their voices are. So something just as simple as an introduction, we place a lot of importance on that, letting them know, this is your opportunity to speak your name, speak up for yourself. Our workshops, each and every one of them start with an introduction where they take ownership of who they are, ownership of the voice they have, and knowing that it's their right, it's their gift to be able to use it. So, you know, where do we start? I think that we start to break the silence and the cycle by using our voices.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And in in doing so, we have to create a safe space.
Mhm.
The parents have to create a safe space for, well, not just parents, let's be clear.
Right.
Everyone,
Right.
adults, we need
Adults, right.
to take responsibility for our own actions and our own
Mhm.
emotions and
Right.
not get so deep into feeling some type of way because
Mhm.
our youth is speaking up for themselves, they're expressing themselves. And
Mhm.
so once they have the language, they need a safe space to be able to articulate that language.
Very true. Because we cannot have it both ways. We can't
Mhm.
say that we want our child to be able to talk to us. And then when they do talk to us, the environment that we create
Mhm.
is not a healthy one. It's not a safe one. It's judgmental or whatever it may
Right.
be. We can't have it both ways. So sometimes we can look at a child and think, oh, they don't talk a lot. Well, it's a choice to stay silent because anything other than being silent, they don't feel safe enough to use
Right.
their
They're met with resistance of some sort.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, or punishment even,
Right.
you know?
And so after the break, we'll talk about how to equip youth to speak up
Mhm.
and how adults can truly learn to listen. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to Pace to Purpose on GSSL Radio.
Welcome back to Pace to Purpose. We're having a very interesting conversation about mental health in youth and adults for that matter, but particularly for our youth. They need to have the language to be able to identify how they're feeling, and they need to have a safe space to be able to communicate those feelings without feeling as if they're being judged or feeling unheard. So, how do we do that?
Right. Let's talk about solutions
Right,
now. Talk
right,
about
right.
how these workshops happen.
They're really set up to provide them with as much
Hmm.
information about concepts that they may or may not be familiar with. For example, building self-confidence. With
Right.
building
Hmm.
self-confidence, everything that you do, you need to have strong self-confidence, right?
Okay.
So that's one of the first things that we suggest that youth take on. And so
Right.
when they are building their self-confidence, they learn how to use their voice. They become confident in choosing the right person to talk to, confident
Mhm.
that they're going
Right.
to make a good decision based off of information that they
Hmm.
receive. So our workshop, we help our youth find their
Hmm.
voice and we help them effectively communicate without
Right.
any fear of being dismissed or disregarded or pushed to the side.
We don't just tell them to speak up, though. We actually
Right.
show them and teach them how to do it. I recall one of the workshops that I participated in, and there was a young lady who was using her voice, and she actually began singing. And someone started laughing, and she started to cry, and she stopped. And
Right.
I pulled her to the side, and I was just like, encouraging her to continue to keep going and use her voice, disregard the noise, right? And she was able to
Right.
do that.
And with that example, I
Mhm.
remember that day, and it kind of demonstrates how even in an environment where the space might not be as safe as you want it
Right.
to be. Because we're all going to encounter that situation where this space is not exactly as safe as I
Right.
would like for it to be. But to be able to dig deep and still find
Mhm.
your voice, that that is an awesome
Yes.
and powerful feeling, and I really believe that she felt that day.
Right.
Breaking the silence, that's where it starts with the
That
voice.
is where it starts. Now, let's shift this because adults, we
Mhm.
need to provide that safe space, right?
Yes, we do.
That means we have to actually listen to them. You are the leader of your home, and listening is leadership.
It is.
The most healing thing that we can say to someone is, I hear you.
Mhm.
I believe you and I understand you. But don't just dismiss. You don't want to be dismissed. We don't want to be
Right.
dismissed.
No, no, we don't. So, what I'm hearing, what they need in order to cope and deal with any issues of mental wellness,
Mhm.
they need to be able to have the language to identify how they're feeling. They need to have a safe space to be able to share how they're feeling.
Right,
And they need to have a listening ear on the other end
right.
who is actively listening to what they're saying and who really cares
Yes.
about what they're saying.
That's the key, though. Active listening.
So, whether you're a parent, a mentor, a counselor, or someone who just cares about youth and their future, I challenge each of you to ask a young person that you're familiar with, how are they doing? How's life been treating you? You know?
And to the youth that's listening, I challenge you to speak up. Go to that adult.
And not only can you go to them and talk with them,
Mhm.
sometimes people can be more comfortable with writing and
Right.
people can be more comfortable with reading what someone has written. So you have options, but make sure you don't just hold it in. You need to
Right.
communicate. Communication is key.
Emotions are meant to be felt,
Yes.
and they're a signal that
Hmm.
something is happening, either good or bad.
That's
And
right.
so it's okay to feel them.
Hmm.
It's just how you express them.
And you can ask for help to do that.
Exactly.
There is no shame in getting help and learning how to regulate your emotions.
This is good for the children and the adults
Yes,
because
it is. Yes, it
it's a
is.
lot of us that can't
Yes.
regulate our
Right.
emotions.
Right. And you know what is one good way to regulate emotions though?
Mhm. How is
Exercise.
that's true.
I do suggest that all the listeners out there support Know Me for Youth's fifth annual 5K virtual run walk that
Yes.
is taking place Saturday, May 31st.
Yes.
And this year's theme is Pace, Power, and Purpose.
And you can register your $29 donation on Eventbrite to get your commemorative t-shirt. Go to Eventbrite, type in the search bar, Know Me for Youth 5K Run Walk.
In honor of May being Mental Health Awareness Month, Know Me for Youth is offering its Identifying and Coping with Mental Health Issues virtual workshop at no cost to the first 5 young people whose parents signed them up. To learn more about that, you may register for the workshop via our website at www.g2nomi.org. You can also email us at info@g2nomi.org. For our social media, you can reach us at G2Nomi on Facebook and on Instagram at Nomi_4_youth.
You can follow Journey to Live Complete on social media at J2LIVE and the number 7. You can also watch past recordings of Pace to Purpose on YouTube at Pace to Purpose or email us at pacetopurpose@gmail.com.
Pace to Purpose will be back next Saturday at 2 p.m. Central, right here on GSSL Radio.
Until then, remember, it's not about how fast you go. It's about moving at your God ordained pace toward your God ordained purpose.